Continuing the 2024 college football season team predictions. Recently, I did the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and today is the Colorado Buffaloes. And Colorado received a lot of hype going into the 2023 season, hiring prime-time Deion Sanders, a man of many words, and a man that is not afraid to talk about what is on his mind, a very outspoken man. And we had no idea what to think of Colorado going into the 2023 season. And they got off to a very fast start last season, starting off the season 3-0, including a road win over TCU, who was in the national championship game in the year prior, and then a win against Nebraska in week 2, and a double overtime win against Colorado State in week 3, where game day was in the house. And then after that, after the 3-0 start, it all went downhill for Colorado, only winning 1 out of their final 9 games in the 2023 season to end the year 4-8. And in year 2 with primetime Deion Sanders, there is once again a lot of hype going into the 2024 season. But to say that there has been a little bit of drama within the Colorado football program in this offseason would be an understatement. As Deion Sanders, he has been, quote unquote, gotten caught in 4K during the offseason, as there have been posts on Twitter being liked by former Colorado players about how all Deion Sanders cares about is getting his 2 sons into the NFL. Mostly Shedeur. And it feels like, with the way Deion Sanders talks a lot of the time, that there's only 3 players on the Colorado football team. His son Shedeur, his other son Shiloh, and Travis Hunter. If you're not one of those 3 players on the Colorado team, Deion Sanders is completely open with going behind your back and plastering your name in a negative manner if you are, quote unquote, the cause of losing a game. As we did see Deion Sanders, he last year after the loss against Stanford, when Colorado had a 29-0 lead in that game, we saw Deion Sanders just let everybody have it except for his 2 sons and Travis Hunter. And I really have a feeling that if I do not predict Colorado to make the college football playoff, then this video is going to get disliked into an oblivion. In fact, I expect it to. I expect this video to get disliked into an oblivion if I do not predict Colorado to make the college football playoff. But I will give some credit where credit is due, as Colorado, they have made improvements in this offseason compared to last year, but it's only going to matter if you can get productive results on the field. And you need 6 wins to make it to a bowl game. And looking at Colorado's schedule, we will have to look and see where Colorado will be able to get these 6 wins from. Without further ado, let's get to why you are here as I predict the 2024 Colorado Buffaloes football season. And here we go with the schedule. The 2024 campaign for the Colorado Buffaloes begins on August 29th, a Thursday night, at home against North Dakota State. And I have been seeing a lot of Colorado fans talk about how this is going to be an easy win for the Buffaloes. But one thing that I do admire about Deion Sanders is he did not underestimate North Dakota State when talking about them at the Big 12 Media Days last week. And as far as this game for Colorado, I do think that it's about 60-40 in favor of the Buffaloes, which North Dakota State, they have a history of pulling off upsets against FBS teams. And North Dakota State is an FCS team that you do not want to see on your schedule. As North Dakota State, they are a team that they will push you to your limits. And I do think at this moment, Colorado is, I think, a 7.5 or an 8.5 point favorite in this matchup right now, as of the moment this is being recorded. But I do think that at the very least, North Dakota State will be able to cover in this game. But as far as winning that game, I do think, as I have mentioned, 60-40 in favor of the Buffaloes. Next week, September the 7th at Nebraska, it is going to be a night game. It is going to be the primetime game on NBC that week. And what a lot of people talk about from last year's matchup is the fact that Colorado won 36-14, which I do get that. But a lot of their production was in short field situations, as it was turnover after turnover that really benefited Colorado. And Nebraska, they are another team that has been getting a lot of hype going into the 2024 season, a team that a lot of people expect to improve. I'd say that this is, I did mention it last week in the Nebraska video. I forgot what it was. I want to say it was 65-35 in favor of the Huskers or 70-30, one of those two. But I don't recall if it was anything more than that. But I'm leaning towards Colorado losing that game. And if they lose North Dakota State too, they could, starting the season off 0-2, this would not be a good look for Colorado at all by any means, because I do expect that Colorado is going to be getting a lot of hype in the media in the weeks leading up into the season, as you already have Colorado as the ESPN slot for Thursday night. And then in week 2 against Nebraska, the primetime game on NBC that week. Week 3 at Colorado State. I think that they win against Colorado State. I think that is their first guaranteed win of the year. So I'm thinking that the next week against Baylor, September the 21st. I think with that being a home game, I would lean towards Colorado maybe winning that game, as I do feel like Dave Aranda is the number one coach on the hot seat going into the 2024 season, in my opinion. September the 28th at UCF. It really depends on how UCF looks in the first couple of weeks into the season. With it being a road game, maybe a little bit of favor towards UCF, but I could see Colorado maybe winning this game if it becomes a track meet, depending on how improved the Colorado defense really is. October 12th, despite it being a home game against Kansas State, I do think that it is going to be a Kansas State victory. Is Kansas State, they're one of the favorites to win the Big 12. October 19th at Arizona. They played Arizona really close last year. They lost at the very end. And a lot of the players from Arizona, they decided to stay after head coach Jed Fish left Arizona to take the Washington job. I do feel like this game is close to 50-50, but I would still favor Arizona by just a little bit, probably 55-45. October 26th against Cincinnati. I do think that that is going to be a win for Colorado at this point in time. I haven't done much research about Cincinnati, as I still think that Cincinnati's in a rebuild mode right now. November 9th at Texas Tech. It really depends on how much Texas Tech is improved from 2023. But I think with that being a road game, I don't know if it's been revealed what time that game is, if it's a night game or a day game. November 16th at home against Utah. I think they definitely use the Utah. Utah, I think, I believe right now they're the favorite to win the Big 12. November 23rd at Kansas. I think that's going to be a loss for Colorado. And November 29th to end the season at home against Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State, that is a loss for the Buffaloes. As looking at Colorado's schedule, with them needing 6 wins to make a bowl game and probably 10 wins to make the College Football Playoff, in fact, 10 wins, I do feel like that could put them in depending on what happens with everybody else. I don't know where you're going to get 10 wins or let alone 6 wins from. Because look at the schedule. North Dakota State, it's a tough one. Nebraska, tough one. Colorado State, I feel like that's their easiest game of the year. Baylor, I think it depends. UCF, I think it depends. I think they definitely lose to Kansas State. Arizona, that's almost a coin flip right now. Cincinnati, I think that is a win for Colorado at this point in time. I think they definitely lose the final 3 games of the year. Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma State. So that'd be 3 losses right there. I have them losing to Nebraska right now, so that'd be 4 losses. And then 5 losses would be Kansas State. Maybe your 6th loss to Arizona. Maybe a 7th loss to North Dakota State. And then maybe an 8th loss to Texas Tech. I do feel like we could easily see Colorado going 4-8 once again this season. But I do feel like the absolute worst case for Colorado would honestly be 2-10, 3-9. Best case scenario, I do think, would be winning against North Dakota State, Colorado State, Baylor, UCF, Cincinnati. I think the best case scenario for Colorado is 5-7, honestly. I mean, maybe 6-6, depending on if they win against the teams they have a chance of winning against. North Dakota State, potentially. Colorado State, Baylor, potentially. UCF, Cincinnati. And how improved is Texas Tech? If Colorado makes a bowl game, it's going to be because they win exactly 6-6 and nothing better than that. So I think that the second year with Deion Sanders wearing the headset is going to be awfully similar to the first season. As I do think that the first 3 weeks of the year, once again, Colorado will probably be the talk of college football. But that will do it for my Colorado team predictions. Let me know which team you'd like me to talk about next. And as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I cannot wait for this video to get disliked into oblivion when I didn't predict Colorado to win 10 games. Until next time.